Welcome. Welcome to our update, our corporate update. We are so excited for this update. We have, I don't want to say guests because these guys are a part of the team. We have Craig, we have Josh, we have Frank. Obviously, we have Marcus and Albert, myself, TW Dawson. We're excited to give you an update. We have some exciting news for you, some new things that are happening in Punk Panda. I know everyone is really waiting on the iOS. We'll give you the latest update on that and some things that we believe is going to help things move forward. But what I want to do right now is hand it over to Marcus because we have a lot of stuff to cover. Marcus, take it from here.
TW, thanks for the great introduction as always. Thanks for making me feel fat as always. I need to get to the gym like you guys. I'm absolutely pumped about this update today. I actually wasn't sure how much we could deliver to you today, and we've actually got more than I expected. So because we have so much, I'm going to throw up the PowerPoint presentation and start moving into it because we've got so much good content to share with you today. For those of you who are watching the recording, welcome to you as well. And let's kick off. Today, we are going to go through the Panda 2.0 update, although I kind of feel like not calling it Panda 2.0. I feel like calling it Panda 1.65 because we're not quite there yet, but we're getting close. We're going to introduce you to some VIP guest speakers, touch on the Panda Blitz marketing, the listing. We're going to talk about and introduce you to a new partnership that we've formalized. And then we've got a surprise at the end, which I'm super pumped to share with you as well. So for those of you who've been here from the beginning, we started October 29th, 10 cents pre-sale, scaled the token through to $1 in the back office of PunkPanda Farm. The token is now at $1.20. So congratulations to those of you who are holding tokens. Of course, we will be listing the token at $1.50 on Pancake Swap in the coming weeks. There's now over 88,000 accounts registered in the PunkPanda Farm, which I know as we start to move towards some more centralized exchanges, they'll be pretty excited about all the different wallet addresses that we have as a community. And of course, as a bit of perspective, while the market is absolutely dumping, Panda token 120 at this point, Bitcoin was $62,000 when we actually started our pre-sale October 29th. So as far as the updates concerned for the app, we have been bringing you updates as far as the moving targets that Apple keep bringing us, saying you need to do this, you need to do that. We've updated our policies, we've updated our security. They're things we can't control, but we have been moving through them quite efficiently. They have dedicated us now to the Indian support team so that our development team can literally get on the phone with them. So every time they have been coming back, it's been a lot smoother and moving forward. Just this morning, we found out we've actually identified an error on our side. There's something that we own. Two different development guys were working on two different modules. They've written them in a different code. They were uploaded to the server, which created a corruption on the APK file. And that's what's actually creating some of the issues that people have been seeing who have downloaded the app on their Android phone. So to me, I was actually really excited about that. And, you know, our CTO was really ashamed and he was upset. And he was, when he's telling me this morning, I said, listen, this is fantastic news. Number one, you're telling us the truth. Number two, you're owning the mistake. Number three, this is something that we can fix and we can fix it quickly. And so it's all good news. When something's not working properly, if you don't know why it's not working, that's the problem. So this is something that we can fix. So what that means for the app is in the next 24 hours, all of the basic functionality will be working for those people who download the APK file on the Android phone. All right, so it's going to be 24 hours before that becomes available. Once you download that in 24 hours from now, you'll be able to use the chat, audio, video, reply to messages, forward messages. The wallet will be functioning correctly, showing your PPM tokens. So that's 15th of May. We're looking for that, okay? As far as the Panda Pals, that module will be around 48 hours after that. So we're looking at the 17th of May. And we're also hoping, fingers crossed, also expecting that the iOS will be uploaded, updated, ready to go in that same 48-hour window on coming out on the 17th of May as well. So we obviously don't control some of the aspects of this, but these are our targets. This is the latest update from the tech team. Now, moving on to our VIP speakers. Decryption Labs yesterday, we actually signed and formalized a 7-figure contract with these guys to take us forward. And before I hand over to Josh, who's going to tell us a bit more about what they're going to be working on, who's part of the team, and why they've decided to partner with PunkPanda to do this, I just want to let you guys know that right now, we just want to make sure that everybody in the community is focused on the right things here, because the value with what we're bringing to the market is really two things from the beginning. All right, it's going to be more as we roll things out, but in the beginning, people wanted a safe, secure, private messaging app, and that's what we've been having challenges in the transition over the last 5 or 6 weeks. Okay, and then the second thing we're bringing is a token, which is how we are rewarding people for using the app, sharing the app, which will have so many utility cases for different products and services that we bring down the line. So whilst we're having challenges and some time delays during this transition, I kind of see this visual as that we're all in this speedboat called PunkPanda, and we started with the app. And that speedboat went from 0 to hero in 3 months, or first 120 days, 0, boom, over 500,000 people loved the message, downloaded the app. But now we feel like this speedboat is tied to the dock. And the people who are purely focused on the app and the fact that we're waiting right now, they're focused on the dock. That's not what we need to be doing if we're entrepreneurs. And that's not what we need to be doing if we want to look at this project as a whole. We can't be looking backwards and looking at what's holding us back. You know what? That line is going to get snipped off, and we're going to start speeding ahead at light speed very soon. But what we should be focused on is, number one, we've got this amazing speedboat, which we know can grow fast. It already performs. The minute the app is in both app stores, you're going to see us go from 600,000 to 1 million to 5 million to 25 million users like this. We have whole companies, databases, leaders, people sitting on the sidelines saying, when this is ready to go, we're piling in. All right. So the speedboat has already shown its capacity. But look at where we're heading. We're heading out to the cruise liner, where we've got the spa, the jacuzzi, the all-you-can-eat buffet, the movie cinema. We've got the casino in there for those who like to have a bit of a punt. There's so much cool stuff that we're heading towards. So we want to have that focus on where we're going, what you're a part of. And so with that, I want to hand you over to Jedi Josh, who's heading up Decryption Labs. We've just signed the contract, and he's going to talk us through who's part of the team and the things they'll be doing for us over the coming 6 to 12 months. Josh, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Marcus. Appreciate the introduction. Thank you, everybody, for joining the call. We're really excited to share some of these updates with you. As Marcus shared, it's been a pretty eventful week with some really major things that we've been rolling out. Just to give everybody a little bit of a background and introduction regarding Decryption Labs. So Decryption Labs is our company, our development company run by Craig and myself. We've come from kind of a fragmented past from different companies working specifically in the blockchain consulting and education space. Craig with a much greater background in trading, and myself in the kind of technical consulting. So one of the things that Craig and I for a long time have been really looking for in the companies that we've partnered with are brands that have a really unique value proposition and that have something that we consider to be like an X factor, right? So, we've launched a lot of big projects in the past. At my former company, we launched Doge, we launched Maker, we launched Paxful, second largest exchange in the world. I had Crypto.com as a client. But, with all of those different companies, the relationship that we traditionally had was simply a service provider, right? It wasn't much of a partnership opportunity because we didn't really have that feeling that this was something truly special and that this was really a unicorn for us to partner with. And so despite the fact that we had this really strong company with technical development and consulting and expertise, we didn't really have that kind of that brand, that community, that X factor that we were looking for. And so that's something that really stood apart when we came across PunkPanda, because there was a different kind of energy and excitement around this community that we hadn't really seen in any of the other projects. The meteoric rise of the community growth that we've seen here, the Telegram engagement that we see here. And so we really feel convinced that this is a really special project with a pretty major differentiator, both in the products, the encryption, and really the whole mission, right? Of kind of empowering people with a lot of the value that they don't get traditionally in some of the apps that they currently use day to day. And I think that's something that resonates with so many different people around the world is, why am I using something that isn't really giving me any value back, right? It's extracting value and it's not really giving anything back. And so for us, to come across something like that was such a big deal that we said, you know what, we want to make a really long-term commitment to this project because we really feel like it is special. And so we're doing a couple of major kind of updates because we want to kind of rekindle some of the design, some of the branding, some of the functionality. So just to kind of go over some of the big updates that we're going to be doing, some of the upgrades, we're going to be covering the corporate site, doing a whole new redesign. So we're going to be working on that just to make sure we really spruce up all the product offerings, really give it a beautiful face that does justice to how special of a product this is. So we'll also be doing some of the Web3 commerce and also doing a redesign for the entertainment piece. So there's a lot of excitement stuff, which I'm not sure if we can share all of it tonight because it's a lot that we have to cover, but that's just one piece. The next piece that we're going to be talking about is the NFT series. So some of you may have noticed in the last call, I kind of hinted about it in the chat. We are doing some earth-shattering things with the NFT collection, right? So we're going to be doing a collection, 10,000 total NFTs, but specifically for the first mint, for the first drop, we're going to be doing 1,864. We are calling it the OG Founders Collection. So if you're an early member of the community, you can get in on one of these NFTs, and you're going to have special abilities to engage in different features that we're going to be rolling out, and an entire game that's going to be coming out with these NFTs. So there's a lot that's going to be rolling out, and a lot that's going to be surrounding these NFTs. The next piece that is also a huge total game changer for the community is we are currently developing the Panda Academy. So the Panda Academy is going to have a whole suite of educational videos and content and literature on the subject of crypto. Craig and myself, we've spent about a decade in this industry, and we really want to share what we've learned with other people because we've seen what it can do to change lives and to really kind of bring back a lot of the value to people, right? And so we want to share that we've been building over the past decade, with the rest of the community. And on top of that, you're going to be able to leverage your PPM tokens for the educational content too. So as you're earning, you're going to be able to take that, leverage it, and actually, gain some of that education, some of that content access through your PPM tokens. So that's going to be another really exciting factor that we're going to be covering in this next major development initiative. And then the last piece, which I sort of hinted at already, is the gaming collection. So one of the things that I see commonly with NFT projects is that they have a roadmap, right? But once they do their drop, they don't do anything to really follow it up, right? It's very common for NFT projects to do a mint and they have a roadmap, but then that's really it, right? You just see them trading on OpenSea and you don't really see much come out of the project or the team after that. We are taking a completely different approach here. What we're going to be doing is developing an entire game, gamified finance. It's going to give you the ability to use your PPM tokens in a whole new different way. You're going to be able to play with them. You're going to be able to compete with them, upgrade your Panda characters, take those 10,000 NFTs that you have and actually upgrade them. So this is also a really big innovation on NFT technology too, because it's not very common that you find dynamic NFTs that you can upgrade. So this is going to be something that really sets us aside, not only in the value and the offering that we have for community and new people that join the project community, but also in the technological field of blockchain. This is a really, really big deal. And there's very few projects out there that have this specifically. So these things are going to be, like I said, earth-shattering, right? Because it's not just going to set us aside, from a product perspective, but from this entire tech field. So this is all really exciting stuff that's going to be rolling out. I want to make sure that we're doing a really good job of communicating the progress that we're making. We are going to try to do our best to communicate some of these progresses. So as the game starts to develop, as the NFT marketplace starts to develop, you're going to see, a little bit about the roadmap. You're going to see little teaser posts from the designs that we have, some of the concept sampling, right, that we have for the project. And then ultimately, the OG founders are going to be able to get access to a closed beta with early access to the game. This is going to be an incredibly fast production timeline, right? We're looking to get this within less than an 8 month to 1 year time frame, but there's going to be alpha testing. So this game is going to be iterative. right? We're going to constantly add upgrades and have things that continue to reinforce the value proposition of PPM. But we can get into that on the next corporate Zooms, cover it, give you guys a little bit more of a sneak peek. In the meantime, I'm going to kick it over to Craig.
Craig, you're muted, sir.
Okay, I should be unmuted now.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? All right, Josh, thanks so much for that. Guys, I hope you're fired up. I have a lot of stuff I want to share with you guys tonight, but I'm going to kind of take it back for a second. Josh gave you the updates and it's gone there. I really want to share with you guys. I hate when people tell their long stories. I'm going to share with you guys my story, but I want you to kind of take away from it why I think it's really important that I could educate you guys and be really helpful here with the Panda Academy and focus on some of the education that's coming and why it's so incredibly important. So just to start off with a statistic first, I was actually reading this yesterday. If there's ever a book on how to chop up, screw up, just absolutely lose your mind, tons of money, your sanity, your hair, whatever it takes, I will write this book about how to mess it up and still pop out the other side successful in cryptocurrency. And I can't wait to make sure that you guys don't go through some of these same pitfalls. Now, some of them you're going to have to go through on your own, all right? But all the crap I went through, and then I read today, actually I read it yesterday, that Fidelity released the top accounts that they have in their entire database. And they said since 2001, the best performing accounts in all of Fidelity, you would think there was some hedge fund or some super trader, right? No, they were those who were deceased clients or those who forgot their login, right? And those are the two best performing categories of people from Fidelity. So what does that tell you? Is that trying to trade and do all the crazy stuff that I did and all the hoops that I went through is probably not as good as just being an investor. If I had a tool like PunkPanda that I could go build on the outside and go earn equity on the inside in a space that I wanted to be in while learning, that's incredible. So keep that in mind while I tell you this story. But so for those of you guys who don't know, my name is Crypto Craig, and I'm going to get deep on you guys for a second, tell you my story. But I gave myself that nickname. That's not a cool thing to do, right? I tried to come up with other nicknames. They never stuck. And then all of a sudden the price of Bitcoin went up and I'm like, oh, this one might work. So I was working full-time for Schneider Electric, selling batteries, which I hated that company. And I was bartending on the side. And I had saved up 20 grand. And I'm like, all right, I should pay off my student loans, but forget student loans. I want to take a risk. I want to do something in business. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew I loved sales. I wanted to do something, but I wanted to be something that made sense. True story. 2015, end of 2015, I'm at a wine and cheese party. And my buddy's trying to pitch me on why I need to join this wine club. And I'm like, yo, the cheese is good. The wine is, I appreciate it, man. But I'm not really into this. I don't think this is for me. And he goes, well, I did make 80 grand tax-free last year in Bitcoin. I go, what did you just say? So that perked up my ears. I went home. I YouTubed literally, what is Bitcoin? And a little 2-minute video popped up. 40 hours later, I was so deep into I had the names in the bracket of who I thought Satoshi was and how all this stuff was created and how it was going to change the world. I was sold. And I was like, I'm going to take my 20 grand and I'm going to pile it into Bitcoin and I'm going to learn this stuff because I think this is the future of the world. I called my buddy back. I didn't know who else to call about it because nobody else I knew about Bitcoin. And so I started telling him about it. We're going crazy. And then he tells me about this thing, Litecoin. I'm like, well, what the heck is Litecoin? So we start going through these different coins and we start spreading this money wide. To give you an idea, there was a few points with my $20,000 that I was just kind of toying around with. There was 3 days in a row from my parents' basement that I made over 400 grand a day trading. And so I quit my job. I literally wrote a Post-it note on my Lenovo ThinkPad and threw it at my boss and said, hey, have a good one. And I walked out in epic fashion. I thought I was Magic Johnson. I couldn't be stopped, right? And so I was up to, several millions of dollars. And I was going to go sit on a beach for 30 days and retire my mom, which is the only thing I've ever wanted to do, is retire her from the hospital, and then kind of decide what I was about to do with the rest of my life. I'm going to cash out half and sit on a beach and figure out what I'm going to do with the future of my life, because I'm probably going to be a billionaire if I don't touch this. And I went to go move it off and be very safe and get my security right. Some of the things that I didn't have right on the front end, some of the things I needed to learn. My phone turned off when I went to go move the money. It turned back on. I had no service and all the money disappeared. And I lost my mind. All my 13 and 14 exchange accounts were wiped out. And I literally woke up in the hospital. If it wasn't for my father to come and save me with 15 grand at the hospital on day 2, because I was on suicide watch, because I didn't know, no one knew what I was talking about. I was losing my mind. I didn't know what to do. If my dad didn't come save me with 15 grand and say, hey, Craig, I don't know what the heck you're doing in that basement, but here's 15 grand, go do it again. Just don't go to jail. I was like, thank you, God. It was enough to get me over the hump. And I said, all right, this time I'm going to study the best. I'm going to learn from everyone I need to. I feel like I'm behind now, but I'm not going to be that guy that sat around and watched this space go to the moon and I didn't participate because I was bitter. I'm not going to be that guy. So I started getting around some of the best people in the space. I started going to all the conferences. I started trading very carefully. I started trying to master trading. I started to master investing. And I started learning from the best. Along the way, one of them is Michael Kimmelman and Charlie Shrem. So I was fortunate enough to get introduced to the founder of the Bitcoin Foundation in about 2017. His name's Charlie Shrem. If you've never seen Banking on Bitcoin, watch it. He's the pioneer, prince of the space. And so I started learning from these guys, just trying to get around them and adding value, doing whatever I can. If they needed marketing, if they needed websites, I was like, I'll figure it out. I'm doing it. And so I got around these guys. And along the way, I was like, okay, I don't want to go through this again. I need to know who the smart people are that are building this stuff that could even know how to take it away from them. So don't let this story scare you. Right now, it's a lot easier than it was in 2016. It's a lot safer. There's huge exchanges that are insured. It's not so much like that anymore, but at the time it was devastating. So I started getting around some of the developers who's smart enough to actually build this stuff. And so I eventually went to a conference and ended up kind of taking over what's called the Bitcoin and Blockchain Center in Raleigh, North Carolina when COVID hit. I said, I want access to these developers to be able to build this cool stuff and I want to learn from them. Along the way, got fortunate enough to get linked up with crypto.com, and everybody wants to get into crypto.com. Believe me when I say, you say crypto.com and people just, it's cool. It's like the first brand that has a .com at the end of its name besides pets that like made something, right? And so we, started trying to get everyone in there because they wanted a piece of this crow money because they saw how much it was going. And it was really hard. They got so busy. They are so unbelievably busy with every sports team, rapper, entrepreneur, big name celebrity in the world trying to do NFTs that they can't handle any more business. They can't hire fast enough. So they started coming to us and giving us projects to build for them, which ended up being much better and very fruitful relationship. And so the reason I tell you all that is because even though right now is probably the darkest times that you guys may have ever seen in crypto, it's been very, very fruitful to me, to my friends. It has blessed me even in a down market. And so I tell you that not to impress you, just to impress upon you that if there's someone who can teach you guys how to do this stuff, I swear to God, it's me. I literally trained myself on how to lucid dream so that I could wake up every 2 hours and keep trading. My mom thought I was losing my mind. They were trying to medicate me. They didn't know what was going on. I'm like, guys, I love you to death. Stay out of the room. I'm going to retire the family. And so I just kept doing this and doing this and doing this, learning. I became absolutely obsessed. And I don't want any of you guys to have to go through what I went through. When I started, I would scour through YouTube to find a minute of great content that actually made sense. And so along the way, meeting with Charlie and getting to work with him on some educational pieces, his partner, Michael Kimmelman, who I could tell was the real workhorse, became my partner along the way. He owns Decryption Labs with Josh and myself. And so Michael was a Wall Street, he started as an M&A lawyer on Wall Street, and then went over to a hedge fund, became a top trader, started his own hedge fund and raised $250 million to start his own fund, shorted the banks when they were going wrong and was actually wrongfully accused of insider trading and did time in jail because he was wrongfully accused, and wrote a best-selling New York Times book about it and came out like a hero. He started working with Charlie Shrem and wrote this big book, and he's all over CNBC, and he's an unbelievable educator on the space. And people kind of feel bad for him because they're like, oh my God, how did you I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you would go through this. He's one of the best educators I've ever seen. He does this full time. And so Michael and I together are going to teach you guys Crypto 101, all the way from the basics of what is Bitcoin and why is it so important, to what the heck is Ethereum? Okay, what are NFTs? What is DeFi? Well, how do you use all this great stuff that we have here, with PPM token? And we're going to take you step by step through all these different courses with worksheets on each, links to all the different, resources that you're going to need to succeed in the space that will literally shave years off your learning curve. I wish to God that I had this when I got started, but I didn't. We had to learn the hard way, and I had to learn the real hard way. If you don't have the basics of security down, if you don't have some of the simple apps on your phone that will help protect you, if you don't know how to buy Bitcoin, most people don't get involved in a financial opportunity for two reasons. One, they don't know what to do, and a confused mind does nothing. And two, because they're afraid to lose money. They're afraid of losing money in a financial opportunity. If we can show you guys how to do this, then you guys will be armed to not just buy PPM tokens and do all the stuff that you need to do here, but to go out and buy any tokens. And so I am a huge believer in the fact that crypto is going to take over, and people need to build a basket of great cryptocurrencies that will appreciate over time, that will take over and become the future of the world in whatever respect that needs to be. And what I love about PunkPanda is the fact that it doesn't take any capital investment to get started, that I can go share it. I can get education. I can learn about crypto. I can learn how to buy a token, swap. I can learn how to stake and do all these cool mechanisms that you may have heard us like actually talk about. I can learn all this stuff while getting paid to use a free app and share it with people. And that's amazing. So now you go from being a trader, which, you know, is the University of California, Berkeley in 2021 released a study that said that 99.1% of crypto day traders lose money. So think about that. 99.1% of day traders lose money. That means that your friend is either lying to you or they're already out of money. That means that everybody loses money, right? So you don't want to trade. It's not a way to live. I used to, when the market was up, I would skip into work. I was the happiest guy at work. If the market was down, you couldn't talk to me. I was like mean to my mother. I felt that like I owe her so many flowers. It's ridiculous. Like I was up and down with the market. It is no way to live. If you cannot be a trader and you can learn how to become an investor and leverage an app that you can share for free to gain crypto, to not move around and actually go and buy the tokens that you want to buy and build a portfolio of a token that you know is going to appreciate because the project is doing well. That's a really unbelievable, almost a Trojan horse way to get into crypto. And so I think that it's going to bring a lot of masses who are not into the space into the space. It's going to educate them in the right way, teach them the basic skills that they need to succeed, and then give you a course from A to Z about all the confusing things that you hear about on CNBC, you hear your friends talking about, you hear on the news, but you don't really know what it means. We're going to take you step by step and show you all that. And I think it's going to be an unbelievable value because not really right now, financial literacy is more important than ever. People know that printing this much money isn't good. You know that something's happening in the world. They don't quite know what to do about it. And this new monetary system, it's overwhelming. It's something that we're going to break down in bite-sized pieces and deliver it to you simply so you can go out there and crush the markets. Now, if you want to be a trader, we're going to help you with some of that. Don't worry. Sometimes you can't help yourself. I get it. We're going to help you guys with that stuff too. But we're going to give you all the resources that you need to succeed. And I love that, you know, Marcus and Albert had the foresight to be like, okay, yeah, we do need education. We need not only so people know how to use our token and buy the stuff and be able to transact on our platform, but people need to know what the heck they're doing. This is a very confusing space. And when you don't know what to do, you'll ask a friend who doesn't know what they're doing, and or you'll go to YouTube and sift through a video that probably was just put up yesterday by someone trying to pump a token that they're being paid to do so anyway. Here, we're going to be able to do in-house all together, and we can learn together, grow together, and that's something that I'm very excited about. And the reason I get so passionate about this is because education is huge. If I knew about this stuff, I would have never been hacked for all this money. And not to mention, I am currently being audited by the IRS for my 2016 crypto transactions. Do you know, like, so who better to teach you about that stuff? It's a real thing. They're going through every transaction I've ever had. It is a nightmare, but I tell you that because it's so much stuff that I can teach you that you don't have to go through what I did. And if you just set yourself up in these simple ways, set yourself up for success and begin your journey this way, I believe that you can shave years off your learning curve, get ahead, and you'll smash this system. So I'm really excited to bring all this to you. We'll roll it out in series, but we're going to start recording here pretty soon, and you'll have all the education you need on the front end to also buy the token, and then all the good stuff on the back end to go out and crush the markets in and outside of PPM. So I appreciate you guys letting me share my story. Hopefully it wasn't too dark for some of you. It does have a light at the end of the tunnel, and I think there's a huge light at the end of this tunnel because we're going to do huge things together. So Josh, thanks for passing it over to me. I appreciate you guys again. Let me share my story. Let me be a part of this team. I'm very excited about the partnership that we struck to do something really, really big together because that's what it takes. A lot of these projects don't have any upwards pressure on the token. There's nothing to do. And now that we have an NFT collection and we have education, we have a game, ways to use the PPM token, that is so good for the longevity of a product. And I like to protect my investments, and I hope you guys do too. So thanks for having me. I'm excited again to be here. I'm going to kick it back over to Marcus to do some additional updates and wrap up the call with a special guest. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much.
Wow, fantastic. Thanks so much, Craig. I'm absolutely pumped. I almost shot through the roof when you were talking, mate. It's like, hey, and also Josh, thanks so much. I mean, you guys are an amazing partnership. We were excited to meet Mike the other day, and Lainey as well, other part of your Decryption Labs crew. So this is just another amazing thing that's come to us, and we can't be more grateful. And, you know, when Craig's talking, I want you guys to think about it this way. We're going to give you something that's, think about save, gift, gift. Because there's another acronym called TKO. In the fighting, it's a technical knockout. But probably the two biggest assets in the world, I believe, are time, because once you've spent it, you can never get it back. And the second thing is knowledge, because someone can take everything away from you, like what happened to Craig. You take everything away, but he still had his knowledge. People cannot take your knowledge away. So with this academy, we're going to be saving you time by giving you, from Craig's experience and from Mike's experience and from Josh's experience, giving you, spoon feeding you what you need to know, instead of having to plow through hundreds of hours of YouTube content to find what you think you might need to know from somebody else who has an agenda. So we're going to save you time. So that's the T for time. K is the knowledge. We're going to give you the knowledge. And then the O is the opportunity. And we're giving you the opportunity to actually change your life. So what you need to bring to the table is the right attitude to learn, and then the willingness to go to work and to apply that knowledge that you get. So with that, I'm going to put the PowerPoint back up and keep moving, because guess what? That's right, there is more. Here's some other things we've been working on. So just so you know, the marketing cannot start. We will not start the marketing blitz until the app is on both app stores and working correctly. We hope that's going to be happening next week, but until it's working correctly, we won't start the marketing. Until when the marketing kicks off, 14 days of marketing, which will lead up to our listing, because guess what? We want people, a retail market of people sitting there knowing about this token, just waiting to buy, so that when you do want to sell these tokens, you've got someone who wants to buy them, and hopefully the price continues to go up because of that. So again, fully functional app, a fully pumped retail interest, public awareness and buzz around the PPM token when we list it. We've been working on some Panda merchandise coming down the tube. First one is Panda t-shirts. Now we've spared no expense with our model here. This is actually one of the guys out of the Philippines who works. So we actually invested a small portion in a manufacturing facility in the Philippines. They make these t-shirts. So we're going to make these available to you guys to be able to purchase if you want to have a Punk Panda t-shirt. And on top of that, we're going to have the Panda coffee mug. For those of you who like to drink tea or coffee from home, you're going to have access to this. And Panda bears, right? The Panda app is the first bear that you're going to have access to. These are being manufactured now. We've got a few thousand of them coming off the production line. These ones will be ready in about 6 or 8 weeks to order. So you can see front and back Panda app. And the second one, sorry, before we do that, we've got two actually. But each time someone orders one of these bears, it's going to have a little disc, a circular disc about 7 inches or 10 centimeters wide that is attached to it. The first side is going to say, hi, my name is PandaApp. Thanks so much for taking care of me. I can already tell we're going to become the best of Panda pals. Just by purchasing me, you are supporting giant panda research, habitat protection, and breeding programs. With only 1,864 giant pandas left in the world, we want to say a giant thank you for your support. Now you'll notice a familiar number, 1,864. When Josh was talking about doing the first OG collection of the NFT drop, 1,864. So in what we're doing with our marketing efforts, with our merchandise, with our NFTs, we're not only going to be raising awareness that there's only 1,864 giant pandas left in the world, but we'll be taking a percentage of our profits. And we've actually narrowed it down to 2 charities. There's actually one out of Chengdu that I've been to personally, where they do panda research, they do breeding. And then there's also the World Wildlife Foundation, which we're talking to at the moment. So once we've come to a conclusion, we'll be forming some sort of a partnership, collaboration, or donation process so that we can take some of the money from our merchandise and support the pandas. Now, as you'll see, we're going to have a web page. This is not up yet, but it will be sending people to punkpandabears.com, which is where people can buy with their credit card any of the merchandise, whether it's the bears, the t-shirts, the mugs. And in particular, with these bears, you'll see Panda app, which is the one they've just purchased to be reading this disc, is one of 7 of the OG collection, because there's 7 bears, including Panda Play. So on the back of this disc, then there's some information about the actual product Panda app, the world's first encrypted communications app, so on, lets them know they can get it from the App Store. So the second bear you'll have access to at the same time is Panda 11, because that's also a product we've got in the market. So cool. I think so many people are going to want to collect the whole collection, the whole 7. And then we've got some ideas for some further collections down the road as well. So I hope you guys like the look of these. I think they're really cute, really cool, and I think they're going to take off. Again, Panda 11, we'll talk about, hi, my name's Panda 11. Tell people that it's the world's first encrypted sports fantasy app that they can get from the Play Store or from the website. So without going any further, I want to hand over to our CEO, Albert Muir, for any closing thoughts before we wrap up for today.
Thank you, Marcus. Hey, I personally want to thank Craig, Josh, and Michael for forming this strategic partnership with us and giving us a contract that they're basically doing at cost. That it's great for us, it's great for them because they've done their due diligence. They believe in this project, so they're not doing it basically for the money. They're doing it at cost. It's a great thing for the community. And also with their educational system, that's very congruent with our belief, because we want people to be well educated, because it's our belief, and it always has been, this project is going to draw in more people that have never been in crypto before that will now be introduced to crypto. And it's a very non-harmful way to be introduced to crypto because the investment is zero. On June 27th, everything was a theory on paper. But during this beta, and we know we've had some trials and tribulations through the beta and that we're almost there, but think about this. We was able to go out and prove that somebody in India could have nothing more than a smartphone, no investment, and make several $1,000s. A person in Nigeria, a person in the Philippines, absolutely no money, walk out the house with just a smartphone and have zero investment. And that's what we wanted. And also, when we're talking about these big databases and all these companies, that when the app is ready, ladies and gentlemen, there's just several million people lined up. And every day, with the likes of Craig and Josh and Mike forming a company to do nothing but service us and become a strategic partner, we have all these other partners that if you look at it and you said, these are the top 100 crypto MLM people in the world, ladies and gentlemen, about 15 of them are with us. That's why we had that explosive growth during the beta phase. So what is going to happen when the 2.0 is released and everything is functioning very well? So I want to leave you off with this. If you have had any discouragement in the time release of this, just think about this. Would these 15 to 20 people be here with Craig, Josh, if they didn't believe that this app will be released here very soon and everything's working perfectly? And you will fall off your chair when you hear about the people that have developed this and the last couple projects that they've done. Let's put it this way. To do the projects that they just finished, you must have top secret clearance to be able to accomplish what they just did. So we'll be talking about that here in the next few days when they're allowed to actually give their bios. With that said, Marcus, I'm going to give it back to you, and you can go ahead and close out.
Hey, do you mind if I say one thing real quick? I'm muted.
Are you good? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh my God. All right. I'm sorry. I am not trying that. Guys, I don't want to steal any spotlight from anybody, but I just want to talk like public service announcement right now. I meant to mention this, and I'm sorry if I didn't. If you guys are down a ton of money in crypto right now, if you guys are like depressed, like what yesterday was one of the biggest fallouts in crypto history, the like UST and the Terra Luna, if you guys are familiar with this, anything that's happening in the space, Bitcoin's way down, the stock market's getting plummeted, like things are a mess out there right now. So like right now really is the time to build. Like this is where there's so many projects that are about to just disappear. They took their money, they raised it in Ethereum, and now it's down half. They can't cover their bills. They're gonna shut their doors. This is how you shake out the weak hands who can't afford to go build these projects. We're fortunate enough to be funded and like to have a bunch of users in a community and a working product that we're gonna fight through this. And like a lot of the great projects were born through the ashes. I'm not saying that we're going into the crypto ashes right now, but if I've been through this like many a time now, this is probably my third major cycle in crypto. And this is when the real projects get built. So if you're down, like don't worry. I'm not saying don't worry, like it sucks. I lost a fortune, you'd be sick. But it's okay. Right now is the time to go stop trying to do this crazy stuff trading. Let's go build. Let's go make money to put into crypto. Let's go do the activities that can make us crypto. Let's go earn crypto to go like start building portfolios and building them smarter this time. And like learn lessons from the last time. Like I should have done smarter things with my tokens, but I only bring this up to say, if you guys are depressed right now, or if you're down, like it's okay. Markets turn around. What goes down must come up. So like breathe. You're going to be okay. If you need help, call somebody, but it is going to be fine. What we want to do is go make a bunch of capital to get back into crypto at low prices, because this happens over and over again. And when it roars back next time, it's going to be huge. And can you imagine what we do with 2 million, 3 million users with a token that has utility? It should do amazing. So that's just a public service announcement. Yesterday was one of the worst days in crypto history. If you've survived it, congratulations for still being here. And I appreciate you guys.
Fantastic. Craig, thanks so much. Josh, thanks so much. Albert, as always, amazing. And, I just want to say thank you to all of you guys in the community. I know it's been tough to be patient. If you're getting frustrated with the app, seriously, don't bother using it right now while it's still going through that process. You can invite people to expand your Panda pals, during this time if they have an Android phone. But, if you walk up and bang your head on the wall and it hurts, don't keep banging your head on the wall. Wait until we open the door for you. And when we tell you it's good to go, it's all ready, it's all working fine, then you can run without having to bang your head on the wall and give yourself a headache. So with that, TW, I'll hand over to you for any closing thoughts. And thanks everybody for joining us.
Wow. Wasn't that exciting? Wow, you know what? The message that I heard, and I thought about this earlier, when Bitcoin first started, no one was in Bitcoin to buy Bitcoin. You were in Bitcoin to earn Bitcoin. That was the whole thing, to earn it. We have the opportunity to earn ours. We don't have to go out and buy. Now, I'm not saying don't buy, because you can buy PPM and you can invest in it, but we all have the opportunity to earn it. That's the position that we're in. Now we're adding the education part. You know how big I am on education. Albert, Marcus, the same. We all understand how important this is. We just got another wild card added to our project. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Albert. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, community. We love you guys. We'll see you on the next update. Good night.
Yippee!
Unmute everybody.
Thanks,
say bye. What are we doing here? Okay. There we go. Everybody come mute themselves.
Good night, everybody.
There you go.
Bye from Florida.
North Carolina. in the house.
Crazy.
Bye, everyone.
God bless Panda family.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. Good night.
Great
Bye.
vibe, great vibe.
We love you.
Panda to the moon. Thank you.